Marines versus Navy SEALs?
Yeah, let's do that. That would be a lot of fun. You know, a lot of people ask me which training is tougher. And I think basically that the US buzz is a lot tougher, but mentally the rock buzz is a lot tougher.
Oh, yes.
You know?
Many viewers of mine contact me in regards to like weapons, training, and what to do for preparing for boot camp. If you met someone who wanted to become a UDT or US Navy SEAL, what advice would you give to them?
Buds is a running man's game. You know, I was a swimmer, and in the water, always at the top. Running-wise, because I swam in it, and it is an endurance sport, right? So running is also an endurance sport, so it really helped my running as well. But running in buds is a lot more different than just running out in the city or by the Han River. In San Diego, I think running is really tough because of the soft sand. You know, there's a lot of instability, and if you have knee problems, this is gonna get worse.
Oh, yeah.
So running in soft sand, it takes some skill to get used to it, because if you're just like running in sand blindly, you're just racking up your RPM and you're not really going anywhere.
Oh,
or
yeah.
you feel like you're not going anywhere. Running in soft sand is tough, and you're always in boots and pants, and you're wet.
Oh, yeah.
And you're tired, of course, so it just makes everything a lot worse. Running in our buds in Korea, so that's tough because we have a lot of mountains. We're doing a lot of trail running, and then going down hills. It takes a toll on your knees.
Oh, yeah.
So to prepare for buds, I would recommend that you do a lot of running. You do a lot of running, you get used to running in boots, because if you're not used to running in boots, yeah, it's gonna get really tough. So buy a good pair of jungle boots, you know, break them in and run as much as you can in them. Everything else, like the pulls, push-ups and dips and all that, you can build it up pretty easily, right? But running, I think it takes a lot longer to get used to all the you know, the hills and the soft sand and the boots in general, because the boots are not very comfortable.
Oh, yes.
Right? But that would be my biggest advice, is to get comfortable in running in harsh terrain.
That's one thing I told a lot of the viewers as well, because before I got back from Afghanistan, from my unit was 3-9, I went out for sniper platoon.
Right.
And that was a lot of running. That was a lot of running. So that's the same thing I tell them, just get used to running a lot.
Right. And you know, some people run really well in sneakers, and then once you put like boots and pants and you know, the soft sand in there and a pack, then the dude can't run at all. It's like, dude, you're like a marathon runner, you can't run with a pack on.
Oh, yes.
To be an operator, you need to be balanced.
Yes.
You need to have like an all-around, you know, skill set. You can't just be good in running in a tank top and shorts.
Yeah, true.
It's good to prepare running in, you coming out of your comfort zone. But that's what I tell a lot of people is, you know, don't just work out in the gym, because it's not like that in buds. You're not gonna be working out in the gym. It's gonna be hazing.
Yes.
It's gonna be in an environment you're not used to. So prepare yourself for those harsh environments.
What are the biggest differences between Korean UDT and US Navy SEALs?
Yeah, the training is very almost identical. We're benchmarked off the US SEAL teams. That's why our name, UDT, well, our unit was established in 1955, but it was from the help from the US counterparts. You know, they helped establish our unit, and that's why we're called UDT SEALs. And we have a lot of cross-training, so throughout the year, There's not to go into too much detail operations-wise, but there's several training. We call them exercises, combined exercises throughout the year that we do. We call them SEAL X, or SEAL exercise. There's things that we teach them, and there are things that they teach us.
Yes.
You know, from their operational experience in Afghanistan and Iraq. So we take a lot of that in, and basically because we're brothers and counterparts and all that, yeah, pretty much everything's similar except cultural. So there's a lot of cultural differences. And of course, there's a lot of mental differences as well. You know, a lot of people ask me which training is tougher. And I think physically the US buds is a lot tougher, but mentally the rock buds is a lot tougher.
Oh, yes.
You know, because for example, in San Diego, we got to go home after training. So we're in buds, but we got to go home after training. In the rock, that's a no-go. That would never happen. Oh, yes. You know, you're staying on base, and you're getting hazed 24/7. You know, because the rock SEAL team, because we're in other special forces. You know, there's special forces in the Army and the Air Force and all that. A lot of the we call it kuta, so a lot of the physical abuse that's gone away in the Korean military, but there's still a little bit of that left in the special forces community. And why is that? Because it's a cultural thing. You know, in the U.S., I don't think that would ever happen. that would never happen. You don't have to be too afraid in BUDS, in the US BUDS, because you know you're not gonna get hit. You know you're not gonna get killed.
True.
No one's gonna come and stomp you, right?
Yeah.
But that would happen in rock BUDS.
Oh,
that
yeah.
would happen. And I got stomped by my instructors a few times.
Oh, yeah.
But I took it in because it's a cultural thing. I don't think that would happen as much in the US. I mean, it could, but I don't think it would really happen.
Yeah, like I've seen some things with that being, because even me, I got messed up bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the Marine Corps culture, and like it made us stronger, made us tougher, more. So at the time, I was like, this guy's a dick.
Yeah.
But you know, now like when I went to war and came back, I'm like, man, I never could think of him enough. I'm like, wow, he really put a number on me. But because of that, I was able to be like this warfighter. So.
Yeah. And also the hierarchy. You know, in the US, in English, there's only like one language, right? And
Yes.
Everyone's a friend.
Yes.
Where in Korea, it's not really like that. You know, we respect our elders, and then there's the juniors and all that. There's a ranking system. There's also who's junior, who's senior by your class number.
Yes.
And that's strict in the Korean military, whereas it's not so strict in the US. I mean, we don't really say, hey, what's your BUDS class number? And then we pick a position from that.
Yeah.
But that happens in Korea. It's like, what's your class number? And then with that, it's like a rank. You know?
Yes.
Then you have your official rank. And then there's also the seniority by your age. So yeah, I think the US, in communications-wise, they're a lot more lenient. They're a lot more cooler. Whereas in the ROC, it's not that simple. You know, sometimes some of the junior guys, they got something to say, but they won't say it.
Yeah.
You know?
What was the most challenging training exercise in the UDT and Navy SEALs?
I think most people that go through ROC BUDS or US BUDS would agree with me, but it's Hell Week.
Oh, yeah.
So Hell Week would be the most challenging portion of training. Basically, it's a week long without any sleep, and you're constantly moving. But the training is really tough because, you know, what's funny is you would think that the training would be a little more lenient because it's Hell Week, because you're not getting as much sleep, but the physical training just wraps up during that Hell Week portion. It's just a lot more tougher than, so in BUDS would be, I think it's the third week, Hell Week is the third week, or maybe the fourth, I forgot, but in ROC BUDS it's the fifth week. You got 4 weeks of physical training, then you go into Hell Week, but Hell Week physical training is a lot tougher than the previous 4 weeks.
Yes.
So that's kind of mind-boggling, you know, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, for 4 weeks we got beaten down, and then we go into Hell Week, but I'm thinking like, hey, the test is just not getting enough sleep, right?
Yeah.
It's not the physical portion, but no, it's both, you know? And it's the same way in the US. The log PT and the IBS training, those two are the most challenging evolutions. We call them evolutions. So log PT is basically, you know, you got this huge log, weighs whatever kilos, and it's teamwork evolution. So you're lifting a log, you're lifting it on your shoulder, above your head, and then to the left. And you know, it's just constant training with the log, and you're running with it, you're doing sit-ups with it. With the boat, it's a lot more running with the boat. Yeah, you got the lunges under the boat, and you know, you got the sit-ups and all that, but you have a boat over your head and you're running with it constantly, and that running is so painful. Like, I can't even describe how painful it is. Oh, yeah. It's just like constantly bouncing on your head. And you have a boat crew of 7 if you're lucky. Sometimes you have 6 because there's a guy that just quit, whatever. And it's a heavy boat, especially if there's water still left in it, because you know, you're paddling, you're coming back on shore and all that. Both are really good training evolutions because they're teamwork evolutions, but they're not individual events, but they're really tough evolutions. And you're doing it throughout Hell Week, like every day. And with the boat, I don't think I lost sight of the boat. I mean, you're always next to that damn boat, which really sucks. But yeah, the training for me, I mean, Hell Week was the toughest. If we break it down, it would be logs and boats.
Wow, I can't even imagine. Like, I thought Crucible was bad. Look, crap. Speaking of combatants and clearing rooms and stuff, if you had to choose between being a strategist or a combatant, which do you prefer?
Oh, if I had to pick one, it'd be combat.
Oh, yes.
Because, you know, we like to be door kickers, but the best would be a combination of both.
True.
You know? But yeah, if I had to pick one, definitely be combat because it's more fun. It's cooler.
It is.
Yeah.
I thought about it and I was like, oh, combatant is good, but then speaking from experience, there were some missions that I went on and I'm thinking, what the heck is this guy doing? Like, is he dumb? Like, what's his problem? I'm like, if I was doing this, I would do it this way, but he had the bars, I didn't. I just had to follow orders. So.
Yeah.
definitely understand it's a good mixture to be both. So.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced something that stuck with you even if you went home?
Nothing that really bothered me. I'm very fortunate to not have anything like PTSD, because I know some of my friends, they're not handling it very well.
Yeah.
Most are, or most have not experienced PTSD. Nothing that really bothered me. I hear that sometimes it comes later on.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll never happen. So.
Yeah, trust me, I know that from experience. All it takes is one wrong movement. Next thing you know, you're on a Black Hawk going to the cash. So. Definitely know that from experience. That sucked. But I'm definitely blessed that you're not able to experience that, because I have a lot of guys, a lot of good friends that checked out. So sometimes the battle is just too tough and you don't have the motivation and endurance to keep going.
Yeah.
Korea has a pretty decent paintball organization. In the future, if I can find other Marines to join, would you be interested in doing an epic team versus team paintball? Marines versus Navy SEALs?
Yeah, let's do that. That would be a lot of fun. I didn't know that there was a decent paintball organization in Korea. You're talking about paintball guns, right?
Oh yes, not real ones like this.
I was thinking like maybe airsoft, because I know there's a huge airsoft organization or a committee or whatever in Korea. But yeah, paintball. I mean, if there's one, yeah.
I would love to play airsoft or paintball. Like I thought it would be good to see like the tactics of special forces tactics versus just good old fashioned infantry tactics.
Yeah.
And compare notes, things like that.
Of course. I mean, if there's a decent field and like a mount facility.
Oh yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh yes.
It'd be fun. And then grab a beer afterwards.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
That'd be cool.
브랜드한테 궁금하셨던 거 혹시 없어요?
Oh, 많죠. So I have a few questions for you.
Oh sure.
Yeah, how did you end up living in Korea? How long have you lived here? And how are you being accustomed to Korea?
I first came to Korea 2015. I came here to learn the Korean style of fighting because in America I was into mixed martial arts as well, and I was fighting and winning championships in America. And then when I moved to Korea, I wanted to learn a different style of fighting. But I'm like, I can't just be closed-minded. I have to expand to be a perfect warrior. You can be skilled in weapons and things like that, but unless you broaden your horizons, you're never going to be prepared for the inevitable. So I moved to Korea to learn a different style of fighting and start preparing to be a professional athlete. Afterwards, I debuted as a professional back in 2019, which is like last year.
Yeah.
And I started just fighting professionally and training here as well. And as far as accustomed, when I first got here, it was eccentric with American culture. However, as a Marine, like it was tough, but I'm like, okay, I told my mom I had to adapt, and overcome. Marines are always flexible, so it is what it is. So that's how I was able to live here long.
How many years in total now?
Total 5 years.
5 years.
It's been a long journey, but I mean,
you're
I love
enjoying
it. I love it. I love Korea with a passion. It feels good because even being here for 5 years, I'm not Korean, obviously, but whenever I see Koreans make it and actually do well, or I have like some sort of legacy to build off of, I'm very excited for that. When I see a lot of my friends who go to UFC and fight that are Korean, I'm like always like, hey, they made it, because I know how it feels to come out and do things. So it just feels amazing. I love it overall. The food. A lot of people here that's really kind. So.
And the martial arts, what's your base?
My base is Taekwondo.
Taekwondo.
I hold 4th degree black belt Taekwondo.
Wow.
And I have kickboxing base and catch wrestling and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, very interesting.
Tindery, how was it meeting me today and filming?
Oh, it was great. I'm glad that we got to meet finally. I'm sorry that was too short, but yeah, we need to do this again. And,
yes.
I'd like to hear a lot about your deployments and your tactics. And yeah, let's just shoot the shit sometime.
Yes, sir.
And grab a beer as well.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm more of a Korean beer drinker, so.
Oh, soju. Soju's good too.
Soju's good. Solmek. This is amazing.
Solmek. We'll go with Solmek.
How was it for you?
Oh. There's literally no words. Like to be able to meet someone that has the experience that he has and has that level of competence within their job and with all the deployments, like there's no words whatsoever. It's a huge honor and a privilege to be able to meet with you as well. Because when I saw you an actual Qatar Sanai and then the BBC documentary, I really wanted to meet you just to share knowledge and compare experiences, because I think it doesn't matter if it's ROC, UDT, US Navy SEALs, US Marine. we're all family. You know, it's all
course.
military, so we all are fighting the same fight. Whether it's a very low intense fight or if it's the like most extreme one of all, we all in it together to some certain degree. So it's a huge honor.
Oh, thank you for the kind words. And
Oh.
Brendan is just too kind. But yeah, we'll see each other again.
Oh yes, sir, most
Soon.
definitely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. 네, 보다 구독자들 여러분, 저는 이근대위였습니다. 오늘 브랜든 만나게 돼서 너무 반가웠고 되게 많은 얘기를 나눴습니다. 다음에 또 뵙겠습니다. 이런 좋은 기회 주셔서 정말 감사합니다. 감사합니다.
고맙습니다.
As an officer, I don't even make eye contact with an officer.